Hello. All right, so this live is a little bit different than most of the streams that I do. I'm just doing my.
Mom, can I bring the activity book with me?
Hello, Brittany. So nice to see you. Hello, Jane. Good morning. Well, it's evening for me, but morning for you. So, I am doing my September wrap up. Hopefully, the lighting is okay. If you need it brighter, let me know. But I'm doing my September wrap up live this month. My wrap up live this month. I decided that would be better. So we're gonna try it out. I have a stack of books here that are all books that even if I didn't read them physically, I own them physically, so I can hold them up. Otherwise, I made banners for all of the books that I only read either digitally or audio, so Kindle or audio. And then I do have banners for those, and they're labeled that way. So we will just go ahead and jump into it. So I read a total of 14 books. Yes, I read 14 books in September. All of them but 2 were 5 stars. So that's what that is. Hello, Kelsey. So nice to see y'all. All right. So nice to see you. Okay, so we'll just start from the top. So the first book that I read in September was Their Vicious Darling. This is a Kindle Unlimited book by Nikki St. Crow. It is the third book. Oh, let me say hi to everybody. Hello, Lauren. Happy Monday. Hello, Jane. Yeah, it was a lot of books. Hello, Lauren. Not as many books as August. I think in August I read like 20 or something, but we're not talking about that thing. I hope that you are loving this book. These are not sprints. So I have my sprints tomorrow as usually scheduled. My nighttime sprints. Tonight is just my September wrap up. I just decided to do it live because I hate editing. I'm just going to be honest with you. All right. So the first book, like I was saying, the first book that I read in September was Their Vicious Darling. This is book 3 in the Vicious Lost Boy series by Nikki St. Crow. You can read all of these books via Kindle Unlimited, which is what I did. This book came out September 1st. So I actually read Their Vicious Darling the day it came out because I had been waiting for like 2 months for the third book. I gave it 5 stars. This is a dark Peter Pan retelling. Like I said, it is a series. Their Vicious Darling is the third one. So we follow Winnie, who is like the great granddaughter of Wendy Darling. And Peter Pan kidnaps or abducts the Darling women, like every Darling woman that when they turn 18. So he abducts them on their 18th birthday. This is a reverse harem. It's very smutty. Okay, it's dark romance. So that's what it is. But please go into it understanding that everyone is aged up, so there's no one under the age of 18. And please read the trigger warnings because the triggers and the content warnings get more extensive as the series goes on. The next book that I read was Legends and Lattes. This is by Travis Baldree. The copy that I have is the like the independently published copy, so the indie copy. I believe he's had this book picked up now, and has had it traditionally published, if I'm correct, and it has like more stuff to it. So this one does not have any of the extra stuff. I think he added a chapter or something to the independently or into the whatever I'm trying to say, the traditionally published book. But this is the independently published book. I did immersion read this. I got the original audio book off of Kindle Unlimited, which it is Legends and Lattes is narrated by the author, because the author is actually an audiobook narrator. He does a lot of fantasy stuff. So this was a 5-star book for me. If I didn't say it, Their Vicious Darling was also 5 stars. So this was a 5-star book for me. I would call this a cozy fantasy book, if that's even a thing, because it is a high fantasy. It's its own world. We follow Viv, who is an orc barbarian, and she decides that she no longer wants to fight people. She no longer wants to be a soldier. So she ends up traveling to Thune, which is like the world that they're in, and she introduces them to coffee by building a coffee shop. That's what happened. If I remember correctly, this is sapphic. And I loved this book. Okay, I absolutely loved this book. It's not super long. It's about 300 pages, so I feel like for a high fantasy, that's very short. This was just like a good time. Like, I teared up, but it was a good time. Wish I had bought Legends and Lattes from mainstream. The original cover so much better. Yes, I agree. I like the original cover. Honestly, I think I put the new version of this, I believe I put it in my wish list, because I do kind of want the traditionally published version of this book as well. But listen, everyone was talking about it, and I got FOMO and I bought it. And then I was like, do you really need that? I definitely did. So I highly recommend this book. It was 5 stars. The next book that I have was Finley Donovan is Killing It. I do have this physically, but I ended up listening to it on audio. I had never listened to the first one on audio. I'd only listened to the second one. So this is one of the picks this is the pick for October for Bessie's Book Club, which we're doing that in like not next week, but the week after. So 2 weeks. And I love this book. Okay. These books to me are 5 stars. I know not everyone, I feel like everyone will like these books, but I feel like not everyone will give it a full 5 stars. That's how I feel. This series follows Finley Donovan, who is a hot mess mama. She is also an author of romance crime fiction. And we are following Finley. She gets in this book, so this is the first book, she gets mistaken for being a hit woman while she's at a Panera discussing her pitch for her book with her agent, someone, okay? And she gets overheard by a woman who thinks that she is a hit woman, and that is what we follow in this series. I absolutely love Finley Donovan. 5 stars. I cannot wait to talk about this book. I am probably going to re-listen to this and actually like annotate this book and the second one this week, because they're very quick listens. So that I actually have something to talk about at the live show. But yeah, 5 stars. Oh, and the library just gave me Skyward. Listen, I cannot with this. Okay, I'm gonna have to take that off of my library and just buy the actual books, because wow. Finley, yes, love her. Starting Finley next. I hope that you love Finley Donovan as much as I do, honestly. The next book was also 5 stars. Listen, if it's not 5 stars, I'll tell you. Okay, but literally almost every book from September was a 5 star. So the next one that I read was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This, I don't know why this says only at Walmart. I think there's extra stuff in here that I didn't read, if I'm gonna be truly honest. This book, I loved it. Okay, so this is a reread for me. The first time that I read it, I gave it 4 stars, but then I listened to the audio, and the audio bumped it up to 5. Okay, so I did immersion read this one as well with the audio. This has mixed media in it, so it has things like project logs in here, and then it also has like phone calls and interviews. So there's a lot of mixed media in this book. This book follows Pip, who is she is doing a capstone project for her senior project. She's a senior in high school, so she's doing a project for that. And she decides to do her own investigation into the murder of Andy Bell. So Andy Bell was murdered 5 years prior to this book starting, and people believe that she was murdered by her boyfriend Sal Singh. However, Miss Pip does not think that that's actually what happened. So she decides to do her own investigation and find out if that's actually what happened or not. She ends up teaming up with, I cannot remember his name right now, but she ends up teaming up with Sal's brother. I'm currently reading the second book. Maybe it tells me on here. Ravi. So she ends up teaming up with Sal's brother Ravi, and it's their journey. Okay. This was a great book, in my opinion. I am actually currently reading the second book, and I think I like the second book even more than I liked this one. And I'm not listening to the audio for the second book because I could not find it. But yes, I highly recommend this. This is a YA thriller crime fiction. It's YA. This, and it's a 3-book series. So this is the first book. Loved this book. Yes, Kelsey, you and Brittany both need to read this series. Like, I need y'all to read this so we can talk about it. Honestly, that's all I need. I need a group chat where we talk about this series. All right, the next book that I read was Dial A for Aunties. This was a Libby ebook, and what is part of my Cozy Mysteries vlog, which I am still working on. Okay, so Dial A for Aunties. This is by Jessie Q. Satanto. And it's an adult cozy mystery series. There are 2 books. I read both books, but I will talk about Dial A for Aunties first. So this book follows our main character, whose name I cannot remember at the moment, but that's fine. So we follow our main character, her mother, and her 3 aunties. That's what we're following. They are a Chinese family, I believe, and they own a wedding business. Okay, this is also a second chance romance. I can't tell you like a lot about what happens because it will literally ruin it to tell you. But someone gets murdered. Okay, there is murder in this book, but it was a cute book. I really did enjoy it. I gave it 5 stars. Probably will have better thoughts about it in the vlog, honestly. But it was my first cozy mystery that I read for that vlog and truly enjoyed it. The next book was For Aunties in a Wedding, which is the second book in the Dial A for Aunties series, or in the Aunties series. This one has more of like a mob undertone. And honestly, it gives nothing away. You definitely want to read Dial A for Aunties first, because For Aunties in a Wedding is just the continuation, but it's our main character is getting married. So you need the background to know what's going on. Hello, Pat. So good to see you. Good Girls is a book for my buddy read group this month. Looking forward to it. Let me know what you think. Absolutely loved it. Okay, absolutely loved it. And then the next one, all of these are 5 stars so far. Well, no, I'm sorry. I gave Four Aunties and a Wedding 4.5 stars. And the reason that I gave Four Aunties and a Wedding 4.5 stars is because I didn't feel like I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as for Aunties. I felt like the story was I don't know. I felt like it made sense as to why we got a continuation story, but I felt like there were parts of Four Aunties and a Wedding that were trying a bit too hard. So 4.5 stars on that one. The next one that I read was Ice Planet Barbarians. This is the first book in the IPB series. I I read this with Aaron and Megan. We have a Discord where we can talk about all of the books. I do need to read the second one at some point. It's not going to happen this month though. I This is available on Kindle Unlimited, but I actually listened to the audiobook, which I got from the library. So I did put KU because the books are available through Kindle Unlimited if you want to read them with your eyes. So Ice Planet Barbarians. I really don't know what to say about this book. I gave it 5 stars because it was a smutty good time, but it's science fiction romance, okay? It's blue aliens and humans. I don't really have a lot of thoughts about this book. It was just fun for me, so it got 5 stars because the vibe was there. That's all I've got. It's very out there. I mean, they're definitely sleeping with blue aliens. The audiobook was interesting. There was a lot of descriptions. I am blushing thinking about it. I really don't know what else to say about this specific book, but I did give it 5 stars. So there's that. The next one that I read was Arsenic and Adobo, which is a cozy mystery as well. This was I put Libby ebook, but it was actually an audiobook. I think I had both at one point and just decided to do audio. So Arsenic and Adobo. This is a cozy mystery about a Filipino family. Someone dies in their restaurant. And it's their journey of trying to figure out how this person died and everything like that. So there's basically death out the gate with this one. This was a good read. I gave it 4.5 stars. I did attempt to read the second book in this series and I ended up DNFing it. It just didn't have the same vibe to it as the first one. So I probably won't be continuing the series. I think it's called like Homicide and Hollow Hollow. But I probably won't be continuing this specific series. I liked the first book, but the second book was kind of a dud for me. The next book that I listened to was Ring Shout. So I ended up listening to Ring Shout during my 24-hour sprints at like 2 a.m. I gave this book 5 stars. This book is written by a Black author, and it is a horror based around the KKK. That's what it is. It's a horror novel. If you're doing Black Weenathon, Ring Shout will fit for Black Weenathon. I actually plan on re-listening to it because I do not think I absorbed everything that was going on. There was a lot going on. It is like a 6-hour audio book, I think. So I listened to it in about 3 hours, but I think I will be re-listening to this. So I highly recommend this one. It's an interesting it's an intriguing concept to me, and it fit with the story. Yes, I definitely would try it out. It is a horror, so like I will say that. And I learned nothing about reading horror at night. Okay, I learned nothing about it, but I did give it 5 stars. There's not a ton I can say about this without ruining what's going on. So I just suggest that if you're interested, you listen to it, honestly. The next one that I read was Legend by Marie Lu. This book had been suggested to me by multiple people, so I ended up reading it as an ebook and listening to it as an audio. I kind of did half and half. I ended up reading about half of it, and then I ended up grabbing the audiobook also during my 24-hour sprints. And this book is, I would describe it as like the Hunger Games on crack, okay? Because it's different. It's like your next step after you've read the Hunger Games. And I loved it. Let me see what Pat said here. Reread Ring Shot last week. Really good read. Yeah, it's really a good book. I'm trying to get Sam to read it, but I don't know if he will because he does not like horror. So I don't know that he will be open to that. Legend is YA. It is a series. So, or the Legend is part of a series. It's the first book in a series. I give it 5 stars. We follow our 2 main characters, a boy and a girl. It's dual perspective, and the boy is accused of killing the female main character's brother, and it's their journey in her journey in getting revenge and his journey in trying to show that he didn't do it. It's a whole thing. It's great, in my opinion. I probably will be buying this series to finish it, because there was definitely things in there that I wanted to annotate, which wasn't really possible on my Kindle. But I did really enjoy this book, and I will be continuing the series at some point. When will that be? No one knows. Okay, my content is basically planned from now until the end of the year, so who knows. Yes, this is the Marie Lu series. Yes, it is. So I did read the first book and I get 5 stars, so highly recommend. The next book was from Scribd, and it was I'm Glad My Mom Died. This was supposed to be a buddy read with Brittany. Did Brittany finish this book about 2 weeks before me? Yes, she did, because I started it when Brittany started it. And then I realized that I needed like a full day to be able to listen to this book. So it ended up getting done right before we went to Iowa, which is fine. This was a rough book for me. Okay. It opened up a lot of things that I thought I had worked through, but this is a memoir written by Jeanette McCurdy. Her journey in Hollywood, with her mother. There's a lot of triggering stuff that happens in this book, so please read the trigger warnings before you listen to it. But it was a really good book. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me feel all of the things. So I did give this 5 stars. I don't usually rate memoirs, but this one deserved a rating and it got 5 stars. The next one was Stay Awake, which I also got off of Scribd. This was the Pyramid Book Club's choice for one of their choices for last month. I actually finished this and then forgot about the live show. So cool. I ended up rewatching the live show later, but that's fine. Yeah, it's definitely a hard read, but it was definitely really good. Definitely really good. Stay Awake is an amnesia thriller. So our main character, she has a disorder that makes it so that if she falls asleep, when she wakes up, she doesn't remember anything. Okay, so she only remembers like the past. I think like 7 years in the past or a year ago. I don't know. But she doesn't remember anything that happened presently. She only remembers things from before she had this disorder. So we are following her. This book was a twist and turn for me because people are also like dying around her, like people that she knows are dying, and it's constant, and it's constantly looking like she's the one doing it. Like this was an adventure. Okay, but I gave it 5 stars. It was a great book, but it does make you feel crazy. So there's that. But yes, I really liked this book. I honestly hope to put it on my shelves. I like the cover, but also I would reread it. So all right, we have two more books. Okay, two more books. So the next one that I read was The Kiss of Deception, which is the first book in the Revenant Chronicles. This was sent to me by Jan, and it's very floppy. Okay, I read this in Iowa. And it was a great book. It was a quick read. This is a YA fantasy book. I probably will be continuing the series. I did immersion read this, and like I said, I really did. I'm gonna turn this light up. There we go. I really did enjoy this book. We are following, what is her name? Leah. We are following Leah. I would assume that's how you say it. Leah. I don't know. But we are following Leah, and she is a princess. Yeah, she is the princess, and she's 17 years old, and the first daughter of the House of Morgan. She does not want to get married, and of course her kingdom is, wrought with tradition. So she's supposed to be getting married, but she ends up running away on the morning of her wedding and settles in among, like, the common people. um and it's her journey in doing that. I gave this one 4 stars. Did I say 4? Did I say 5 earlier? Because I think I said 5, but I gave it 4 stars. I gave this one 4 stars. I thought it was really good, but it's definitely, like, you can tell it's the start of a series. So I do need the other 2 books. I tend to be that person that will give a rating to each individual book, but then will rate the overall series as well. This feels like it could be a 5-star series, but this book by itself was a 4-star book, if that makes sense. Hello, Jigra. How are you? So nice to see you. And then the last book that I read in September was Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. I got this when we were in Iowa. It's a big boy. Okay. It's like 800 pages. Jan ended up gifting me the audio for this, so I did immersion read. I thought I had marked this and I did not. I think I was just following along. I tend to read books twice, like read it once and then read it again to annotate, but I will not be annotating this copy. This copy is actually up on my Pango books right now because I would rather have the hardcover. But this book follows Bryce Quinlan, and there is a murder that happens while Bryce is out at a party, and the whole book is her and the fallen angel Hunt Athalar, I think is how you say his name. They are trying to figure out who committed this murder. This book ripped out my heart. Okay. I believe it was Brittany that I texted while I was reading this. I had like an hour of this book left, and I texted Brittany and I was like, I don't know if I can finish this book. More coherent thoughts will be coming very soon in a vlog that I'm doing, because this was given to me by someone that is participating in my project. So I did have to read this anyway, and I do have the second one on my shelf, but I'm being told to read all of ACOTAR and then read the second book. So I'll probably do that. But this book was great. It was a 5-star prediction for me, but I'm usually really bad with 5-star predictions. Like, most of the time when I say, oh, it's a 5-star prediction, it ends up being like a crap book. But this book was really, really great. There is a character in this book that gave me Dobby vibes from Harry Potter. Like, the character was just such an innocent character and sacrificed their life and all this stuff. So this book definitely made me cry. Okay, this was a great book though. In my opinion, it was a great book. Glad you loved it. I did too. Yes, I really did love this book. I didn't really know what to expect because the only other Sarah J. Maas book that I've read all the way through was A Court of Thorns and Roses. So the first ACOTAR book. And I went into this pretty skeptical, especially because you have to get past the first like 100 pages, because the first 100 pages is just world building. They do talk about the murder, but it's mostly world building. So in total, I have 3 books that I did not give 5 stars to. Everything else got 5 stars. So 11 books out of 14 got 5 stars. I feel like that's a pretty good reading month. I'm trying to think what I was going to say because I don't know. Oh, I also listened to a few podcasts last month. Most of them are ones that I listen to regularly, such as Morbid and Crime Junkie podcast. So we also did that. I don't usually talk about that in my wrap ups, but I will mention it here just because it is something that I keep track of. I keep track of that in my reading journal. So it's way better than ACOTAR, but don't have to push through the world building. Yeah. And it's definitely Crescent City. The series of Crescent City is definitely adult, high fantasy. And I was kind of afraid because Court of Thorns and Roses, like the first book in that series, is, in my opinion, it's written very YA. But Crescent City was not. So I was happy for that. It is the only book this year that has made me cry. I cried twice, and the second was an ugly cry. Yeah, I cried a couple of times reading this. It's not the only book to have made me cry this year, but I definitely will say that unless I hit some other fantasies in November and December that are just better, this book is the best fantasy book of the year for me. So, loved it. It's all good. I knew what you meant. But yes, this book definitely, House of Earth and Blood, definitely the best fantasy of the year for me thus far. And it would take a lot to knock this out of place. In my opinion, this gave me the same vibes, but for adults, that the HP series gives me when I reread that. It was the same thing for me, the same vibes. You know what I'm saying? So those are all of the 14 books that I read in September. Let me know if you guys like doing my wrap ups this way or not. I wanted to try it because other people have been doing it and it looked like fun. And it's kind of fun to interact with everybody like in real time while talking about the different books that I've read. So let me know if you guys like this. It will go up on my channel. So anybody that missed it, leave me like your favorite book themed emoji in the comments if you are rewatching this as a replay. Unless somebody has something that they want to talk about specifically, I truly don't have anything else to say. I really do not. But I wanted to try to do a wrap up live. Like I said, I've literally never done this before, but it always looks fun when other people do it. I liked it this way, different to just watching video. Yeah, and it's easier for me because I don't have to edit. Like if I say something dumb, then that's fine, honestly. Oh, I guess I will say that I put up a poll the other night, Saturday night, to get Mr. Reading Wineva, aka Sam, on my channel. We will be doing a live show next month. Not next month. No, next week. We will be doing a live show on the 20th. Which is next Thursday. I'm going to be scheduling that. And we're going to do the booktube boyfriend tag as a live show because he said he didn't really want to sit in front of the camera, and I was like, we can do it live and then I don't have to edit it. And he was like, okay, that would be cool. So that's what we're doing. He will be on my channel for this. Join late. What were the book titles? I will gladly go back through them for you, Jigra. I will go back through them really quick. Like it's live this way. Thank you so much. Yes, it's going to be fun. All right. So the first, there were 14 books total. I'm just going to go through them one more time since Jigra was a little bit late. The first one was Their Vicious Darling by Nikki St. Crow, the third book in the Vicious Lost Boys Peter Pan dark romance retelling series. The next book was Legends and Lattes, which is like a cozy fantasy book. Then I read Finley Donovan is Killing It, which is the first book in the Finley Donovan series, which we are reading for Bessie's book club. Next was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is the first book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. There are three books in this series. And then I read Dial A for Aunties and For Aunties and a Wedding for books 5 and 6. This is a cozy mystery series. I read both books for that. The next one was the first book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, which is just called Ice Planet Barbarians, which is a smutty science fiction alien romance. Then I read Arsenic and Adobo, which is another cozy fantasy. I listened to Ring Shout, which is a black horror book. Then I read Legend, which is the first book in a series by Marie Lu, which it reminds me of the Hunger Games, but different, different. Next, I listened to I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I feel like everyone knows what that is, but it is a memoir. Next was Stay Awake by Megan Golden, which is an amnesia thriller. Then I read The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson, which is the first in the Remnant Chronicles series, which is a YA fantasy. And the last book that I read was Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood, which is the first book in the Crescent City series. So those are all of my books that I read this month. And y'all can also let me know if you want me to start including podcasts and things like other media that I consumed through the month, because I do keep track of podcasts that I listen to. I don't really keep track of like shows or anything like that. I could if people are like really interested in knowing about them, but I don't keep track usually of TV shows or movies that I watch. I don't really watch a lot of movies anyway, but I do keep track of podcasts that I listen to. So if you guys want me to include those in the next wrap up, let me know. But that's really all that I have for this live. So we will have our Tuesday Black and Weenathon sprints tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Unless, like last week, absolutely nobody is having sprints, and then I might get on a bit early for those. Wednesday, we will have daytime sprints, but I'm trying to figure out how to make this work because Ari is at school now, so I have to be at the bus stop to pick her up. So what I think I'm probably going to do is just make sure that we're doing a sprint in the time that I have to go down to the bus stop. It's only like 10 minutes, but like in the time that I need to go down to the bus stop and get her, I'll make sure that we're sprinting in that time. No sprints on Friday because this weekend is the monthly 24-hour sprints. So we will have 24-hour sprints on this Saturday and Sunday, but no sprints on Friday. I like to take the Friday before we have 24-hour sprints off to kind of breathe. And that is pretty much it for this week. That's all I have for this week. going to watch the playback for specifics, and I own another one of the ones you read. Yes, I did go into more details. Next time I will take some notes. Okay. So sorry about that. If anyone has any specific questions about the books that I read, please feel free to comment or to message me, and I will try to like give better explanations of things. Next time I'll take notes. Thank you, Pat. Thank you all for showing up. You need podcast tracks, please include them next time. No problem. I will definitely include podcasts because this is my reading journal, and I do have spots down here I put my audiobooks up here so I remember what order I read things in, but I do put podcasts down here. So I will keep track of any podcast that I listen to for October so that I can give those podcast recommendations. Okay, I will definitely do that, Jigra. For anyone that needs or wants them. The only downfall to this is that I do have to make banners for these. There's no way for me to superimpose like the picture of audio or ebooks like I would, in a video. But if you guys like, yes, all the sprints. If you guys like the live wrap-ups, then I will start doing the live wrap-ups. Honestly, this is less pressure. This is less pressure for me to do them live because I don't know. It can be as long or as short as it needs to be if I do it live. You know what I mean? When I'm doing a true sit down video, I feel like it can only be so long before people get mad. You know? Yes, Bonnie is sprinting in a bit, and I believe Kaylee is currently sprinting right now as well. I think I saw the notification for that. Yay! I'm glad that everybody is liking the live wrap-ups. Happy reading and hydrate. Yes, everybody hydrate. Live wrap-ups for the win. Okay, so from now on, we will do live wrap-ups. I will try to do them closer to the what in the world? I will try to do them closer to the beginning of the month. From now on, I mean, the 10th isn't that far into the month, but I'll try to do them like the first or second, and I'll try to schedule them for a weekend next time. But I did do them in the evening this time, hoping that people could jump on, and there were some people that did. So that's pretty much all I have for this month's wrap up. I will do October's wrap up in this format as well. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and I will see everyone tomorrow for Black Withon Sprints. Bye!